at a time where the country is meant to be united, coming together with the coronation of the king, we've seen quite a bit of hate as of late, claiming that the royal family is the bastion of white privilege, all that's wrong with the West.
The rich diversity of the Abbey to a terribly white balcony. I'm very struck by that. And
We saw plenty of anti-monarchist protesters, claiming that the royal family is wealthy and privileged. Bear in mind, I bet a lot of these protesters are probably middle-class university students. The irony is just lost completely with them. And we've seen some quite horrible comparisons to North Korea, rallies at North Korea compared to the celebration of the royal family. It is completely ridiculous, Darren. What do you think of all this?
Well, look, I mean, the first point, I guess, to raise, the one that certainly caught my attention the most, was the Bridgerton actress Adjoa Andoh, who was on ITV. Now, she said that actually she looked up at the balcony and was, it said it was terribly white. Now, if I looked up at a balcony of a black family, for example, and said to someone on ITV, look at that balcony, it's terribly black, they would have my guts for garters, Jess. I would never work again. I'd be cancelled quicker than you can cancel a new series of The Only Way is Essex or some crap like that. The fundamentals are pretty astonishing here, because it sets a precedent that says that it's okay to attack someone for their skin color as long as that skin color happens to be white. Well, I'm sorry, didn't we fight for a generation after generation in the 60s and afterwards for equality across all races, to fight for better race relations amongst people? If you ask me, this is deliberate stirring of the pot. She was then, Jess, on the BBC, I believe it was yesterday, which would be Monday, and she was interviewed by a guy called Paddy, who's a presenter for BBC Radio 4, and she said she apologised. This actress said she apologised if she offended anyone, if she upset anyone, and quick as a flash, the BBC presenter said, you didn't upset anyone. I'm sorry, I know plenty of people that she upset, right? To look up at our royal family and say they're too white, or suggest that they're too white. Why do that? Why try and stir the pot like that? And why is the BBC purporting to actually speak for all of us? Some of us are actually upset by comments like this that deliberately try and stir up resentment against white people. It's disgusting. And I think it's time it got called out as such. If the BBC aren't willing to do that, GB News, Reason, others will be more than happy to do so for them. So, and that other point about that, this doctor, I don't know what she's a doctor in, finger painting perhaps, Jess? Shit stirring, could that be what she's got a doctorate in? Forgive my French. Because actually, my granddad served in the Korean War. He served under the banner of the Union flag, which obviously we had a monarch on the throne then. And that flag represented freedom from coercion, from tyranny, freedom at the ballot box, freedom of the market, so many other key tenets of what we take for granted across the West, but especially here in Britain. And he was proud to do so. It was the only time he ever went abroad. Absolutely proud of his service. And South Korea, that he helped liberate, is now a beacon to the world, a shining example to the world. So how dare this middle-class, contemptible academic sneer at the British people like that and try and suggest that turning up to celebrate our new monarch being crowned is somehow comparable to the coercion, threats, intimidation that you receive to your life, your livelihood, and all the rest of it if you don't attend national events taking place in North Korea. There is absolutely no comparison. It's just ignorant. Again, it's the attempt to stir the pot from the people that actually accuse us on the right of being divisive. Thus, on the conservative side of politics, of being divisive. If they want unity, I tell you what, Jess, they've got a bloody funny way of going about it.
Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.